Hi, something I keep noticing lately. People talk about their subscriptions like they're collecting them. Netflix, Spotify, the gym app, the news site, the cloud storage, the meal planner. And when you ask them how much they're spending in total, most of them genuinely don't know. So let's do a quick test right now. Open your phone or open your email and search the word subscription. Just do it. How many came up? Because I'm guessing it's more than you expected. Now, here's the real question. Not how many you have, but how many you actually used this week, and how many you completely forgot about until just now. That gap between what you're paying for and what you're actually using, that's what this video is about. But honestly, it goes beyond subscriptions, because the way money quietly leaves your life without you noticing is not about subscriptions. It's about something bigger, something built into how we pay for things today. I noticed this in my own 20s. My finances were broadly fine. I wasn't reckless, I wasn't in debt. But at the end of most months, there were gaps I couldn't explain. Money I'd spent, I just couldn't account for where exactly it had gone. So I sat down and did the math. And what I found wasn't a dramatic revelation. It was something quieter. Spending habits I hadn't questioned before. Convenience costs I'd never stopped to think about. Small amounts that individually seemed completely harmless, but that added up, month after month, to real money quietly leaving my life. I built a system to stop it, and I've been using it ever since. In this video, I'll show you how it works. Now, a quick note before we start. Everything here is based on my own research and experience, purely for educational purposes. Everyone's situation is different, so do your own research, and if you need specific advice, talk to a financial advisor. So here's what we're going to look at. First, why you don't notice the money leaving, because there's actual science behind this, and once you understand it, you can't unsee it. Second, the 4 places where most people leak the most money without realizing it, with real numbers. And third, the 30-minute audit I've been doing for over a decade. Simple, practical, and it works. Let's get into it. There's a study I find really interesting. Back in 2001, 2 researchers at MIT, Prelek and Semester, ran an experiment. They auctioned off tickets to a sold-out NBA game to a group of MBA students. Half of them could only pay in cash, the other half could only pay by credit card. The credit card group bid roughly twice as much for the exact same tickets. Same item, same people, the only difference was how they paid. And the reason is pretty simple when you think about it. When you hand over cash, you feel it. Your brain registers the loss in real time. But when you tap a card or click buy now, that feeling is almost gone. The money still leaves. You just don't feel it leaving. Now think about how we pay for almost everything today. Tap to pay, one-click checkout, saved card details, auto-renew. All of it is designed to make paying as painless as possible, which sounds convenient, and it is. But it also means you're much less likely to stop and ask yourself whether you actually want to spend the money. And then there is subscriptions specifically, which have their own psychology. When you buy something for 200 euros, you feel that 200 euros leave. But when you sign up for 19.99 a month, your brain barely registers it. It feels like almost nothing. But 19.99 a month is 240 euros a year. And here's where it gets interesting. If instead of paying that subscription, you'd invested that 240 euros per year at a modest 6% return over 10 years, you'd have roughly 3,300 euros. So you didn't just spend 240 euros a year, you gave up 3,300 euros. Because every euro you spend is also a euro that stopped growing. That's true for one subscription. Multiply it by however many you found in your inbox earlier. Nobody is going to remind you about this. The bank won't flag it. The streaming service definitely won't ask if you still watch. The money just keeps leaving, quietly, automatically, until you decide to look. So where does it actually go? I want to walk you through 4 categories, because these are where the numbers add up fastest for most people. First, forgotten and underused subscriptions. Studies across the UK, Germany, and France consistently find that European households have somewhere between 8 and 12 active subscriptions at any given time. And of those subscriptions, between 30% and 50% are either barely used or completely forgotten. That's typically somewhere between 30 and 80 euros a month, 360 to 960 euros a year, for things people aren't using. It's not because people are careless. It's because the auto-renew was the default. Life moved on and nobody ever cancelled. Second, the convenience tax on food. This one is the biggest for a lot of people and also the most uncomfortable to talk about. Food delivery apps charge a typical premium of 20% to 40% over the restaurant's actual menu price. Then there is the delivery fee, then the tip. That 15 euro meal on the menu becomes 25 euros on your phone. And it's not just delivery. Convenience stores and small shops typically charge 30% to 100% more than supermarkets for the same items. A bottle of water at the train station versus the same bottle in a multi-pack at the supermarket. You're often paying triple. A household ordering delivery 3 or 4 times a week instead of cooking is typically spending an extra 300 to 500 euros a month versus equivalent home-cooked meals. That's 4,000 to 6,000 euros a year, just on convenience. I'm not saying never order food. That's not the point. The point is the difference between a deliberate choice and an automatic habit. Third, premium tiers that aren't earning their keep. Premium phone plans with data you never use. Gym memberships at the premium location you barely visit. Banking accounts with perks worth less than the monthly fee. Credit cards with annual fees that don't pay for themselves in cashback. A credit card with a 150 euro annual fee and 1% cashback only breaks even if you spend 15,000 euros a year on it. A phone plan with 100 gigabytes of data is wasted if you use 8. A 60 euro gym membership you use twice a month costs you 30 euros per visit. The question I ask with every premium tier, what does it actually deliver compared to the standard option? If the honest answer is I'm not sure, it's not delivering enough. Fourth, defaults and autopilot. This is the most invisible one and probably the most expensive in total. Auto-renewals you forgot to cancel. Cloud storage that upgraded itself when you hit the limit. Apps you downloaded once and never deleted that charge annually. Default tip suggestions on payment terminals that have quietly crept from 10% to 18% to 25%. None of these are dramatic on their own, but the cumulative effect of dozens of defaults all running quietly in the background, it easily adds up to 100 euros a month or more for the average household. Another 1,200 euros a year gone. So if we add this up at the conservative end, forgotten subscriptions 400 euros, food convenience 2,000, premium tiers 500, autopilot defaults 1,200. We're talking roughly about 4,000 euros a year. And if that 4,000 euros a year was invested instead in a low-cost broad index fund at 6% real return over 25 years, it would compound to roughly 220,000 euros. So the question isn't really whether you can afford these things. It's whether you can afford to keep paying for things you don't use, when the alternative is 250,000 euros. Alright, so here's the system. This is what I built in my 20s when I noticed the unexplained gaps in my bank statement. And it's what I've kept using since then. Once a year, 30 minutes. You need your bank statements and credit card statements for the last 12 months. That's it. Step 1. List every recurring charge. Go through the last 12 months of bank and card statements. Every charge that appears more than twice, write it down. Don't judge it. Don't categorize it. Just get it all in one place. Most modern banking apps like Revolut, N26, and a lot of traditional banks too have a subscriptions filter that does most of this automatically. If yours does, use it. It's faster. The goal of this step is just visibility. See everything that's leaving your account on a recurring basis. Most people have never done this. The list is usually longer than they expected. Step 2. Sort into 3 buckets. For each item on your list, one honest question. In the last 30 days, did this actually deliver value to me? 3 possible answers. Use yes, I used it. It's worth what I'm paying. Keep it. Downgrade. I use it, but I'm on a premium tier I don't need. Switch to the cheaper plan. Cancel. I haven't used it. Or I forgot it existed. Gone. The key word is honest. Be honest about the last 30 days, not about what you plan to do next month. The gym membership you keep because you're going to start going is a monthly tax on good intentions. Cancel it. If you actually start going, sign up again. Step 3. Cancel everything in the cancel bucket today. Same day. Don't make a list and come back to it later. Later is how the leak continues for another year. Open each one and cancel. If a service makes it deliberately hard to cancel, buried settings, multiple "are you sure" screens, aggressive retention offers, pay attention to that. That's a company that knows exactly most people give up. Don't give up. For the downgrade items, switch the plan this week. Same principle, don't leave it. When I did this the first time, running the numbers, seeing what was actually leaving my account, the individual amounts weren't shocking. What was striking was the total. Things I'd accepted as fixed costs that weren't actually fixed. Habits I'd never stopped to question. Once I saw it clearly, it was easy to act on. That's what the audit does. It replaces guessing with clarity. Three things. Simple. 1. Block 30 minutes this weekend. Saturday morning with a coffee works well. Bank statements, card statements, the list. Do the audit. 2. Whatever you cancel, redirect that exact amount to your investment account automatically. If you cancel 80 euros of monthly subscriptions, set up an 80 euro monthly transfer. The money was already leaving your account. Now it leaves somewhere useful. 3. Set a calendar reminder for 1 year from now. Do it again. New leaks always appear. The audit catches them before they compound. Here's the thing, this isn't about being cheap. It's not about cutting the things that actually matter to you. It's about paying attention. Because the way money moves today is specifically designed to make sure you don't. Money is a tool, and if you don't learn how to control your finances will control you. 30 minutes a year, that's all it takes to stay on the right side of that.